Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another video. And man, I've been stuck in my home for like days now. All through this week I've been stuck here. The last time went out somewhere in my car was like Saturday, and I've been stuck at home for nearly all of this week because I live in Texas and I went through with everybody else here in this state this nasty snowstorm. This snowstorm, just affected nearly all the counties here in Texas. Um, cities like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, like other big cities, like were just impacted and hit hard by all of this snow. This nasty snowstorm. People are like going into the garages of their houses and starting up their cars just to keep themselves warm, and the carbon dioxide like hit them and like killed them, like, and they had the garage door down with the cars running. They were sitting in the garage trying to keep warm, and they inhaled the carbon dioxide and killed themselves. So that was kind of dumb. And what else? People's homes, um the water pipes of their homes were bursting, and the water was flooding out their houses, like, because of this snowstorm and rolling blackouts. And it's because Texas has its own power grid called ERCOT, and and it's a power grid and electricity that's independent from the rest of the country. Other states in America are sharing power with each other, and they're borrowing and selling power with each other, but not the state of Texas. Texas chooses the go it alone approach and have its own electricity, and that's resulted in people like suffering in all of this. You know, having no power, freezing to death. I heard grocery stores were completely sold out of food, and one of the politicians, Ted Cruz, got on a flight and went to Cancun, Mexico, with his family. I mean, then you got the governor, Greg Abbott, and Republican politicians are blaming like wind turbines and the Green New Deal for the power outage. And the truth is, it's fossil fuels that's the blame. You know, yeah. I went online and I bashed bashed the state and bashed like how stupid some of the people here are. Um, and I got a comment from a Texan, and made a video and ran across this person, made a video about this person, and ran into this person on some videos from a YouTuber by the name of Igor the Russian. And I left some comments, try to get Igor to talk to me, and I found out from my friend Captain Brandon Horror Lover that Igor the Russian is very suspicious of others. He treats his he he makes fun of his subscribers, and he thinks everybody but him is a moron, and he's very shady. And I was a former subscriber of him, and I unsubscribed to him, and I left some comments on his videos, trying to like have a back and forth conversation about America and Russia. And I don't remember what I want to talk to him about. Um, and he never talks to his audience because he's maybe because A, he's busy, or B, he just doesn't trust his audience or his subscribers. He think like he lived in America and in Southern California to be exact, and people in Southern California treated him like crap, and he thinks like other Americans are like this, and because, well, quote unquote, he has trust issues. Okay, this person who I ran into on one of Igor the Russian's videos on his original YouTube channel that was like deleted because of copyright claim issues, and he created a new channel. Okay, on his old channel, I left some comments, and a woman by the name of Elisa Grace um, accused me of having a passive obsession with Igor the Russian, and he's not obligated to respond to you, and told me that I need to go see a therapist. And him and her and this old guy were trolling me, and they thought that I was crazy. There's something wrong with me. But there was nothing wrong with me at all. I didn't have no problem. There was nothing wrong with me at all. I think I was saying stuff to Igor like, "Hey Igor, I wish if you were my brother, like, yeah, we would get along," and stuff like that. That's all I remember. And Elisa Grace thought I was crazy and told me to go see a therapist. And I made a video up on this channel titled "Seeing a Shrink Won't Help You." It's up on this channel. You guys can go and find it and watch it if you want. I think it's one of my shitty videos on this account. Um yeah, let me go ahead and read Elisa Grace's comment, and she says this is from a video from the Rational National YouTube channel that's ran by David Dole, a guy from Canada, Toronto, Canada. And here's Elisa Grace's comment to me when I was bashing Texas and the people of Texas and calling out how people in Texas are. And she says this: New Manchester, if you find France the same New Manchester, if you find France the same, you are going to have to look at yourself for the problem. Seems you are searching for agreement and validation of what you know. Um, Basically, what she's trying to do here, she's trying to gaslight me. She's trying to make me out like I'm the problem of why Texas is the way it is. I don't know what she's trying to do. So basically, she's trying to gaslight me. So I went to respond to her and lay down some facts about how Texas is compared to other countries, how the people are. Um, she just completely ignored me and never responded to me. So basically, she's just some Texas woman who ran across my comment and tried to gaslight me and make me out as the problem. And reality is, I mean, I'm not the problem. It's people like her and some people in Texas who are the problem of why this state is in the predicament that it is in. And she's saying that, if France, I guess she's saying that if France was like Texas, um I I would say I would say the same thing that I said about Texas. Hmm. No, because I will look at the pros and cons. Texas has way too much bad and less good here. France is not a perfect country. It's better than the U.S. It has its problems, but it's better. The problem with France is they have a poor immigration problem. people in their country left and right. Like, that led to a school teacher being beheaded by Islamic student because that teacher was showing a cartoon to students in the class about the Prophet Muhammad, and he didn't like this, so the Islamic student didn't like it, so he went and beheaded the teacher, cutting the teacher's head off. And I also heard in France that people from Italy crossed into southern France and went to some church in Nice and killed a lot of people. And yeah, so there's some problems with France. I mean, there's probably other problems that I don't know, but yeah. Um, Also, people in France, if the government is like this, if the government in France was like the government here in Texas, I mean, the people in France are not gonna put up with it. They're not. They're gonna come out. They're gonna protest hard, and they're gonna give hell to the government. Yeah, I mean, if you piss off the French are gonna let you know. They're gonna come out and well on you. I mean, like for instance, when French President Emmanuel Macron raised the gas tax, I think he raised the gas tax. I mean, that that pissed off a lot of the Parisians in Paris who drove cars, and they went and protest. I mean, they were known as the yellow vest protesters, and they protest and they raise hell and they destroy like parts of Paris. I guess set things on fire. I mean, they did a lot of damage. And Emmanuel Macron, the French president, got all scared, and he went on live TV and announced to the French public, the French people, that he was going to raise the minimum wage to 1,000 euros. And the French looked at this and they said it was pathetic, and they said it was like Emmanuel Macron gave them half of the like half of the baguette or the crumb of the baguette and not the entire baguette. So yeah, I mean, yeah, if you, if the government was like, if the French government in France was like the government here in Texas, I mean, the French people are not gonna put up with it. Here in Texas, I mean, the people here aren't gonna do anything. I mean, they're brainwashed. They're gonna like vote for these scumbag, rotten politicians who aren't shit. And yeah, and they're gonna kiss ass, lick boots, be all chicken shit and scared and petrified, not giving a shit, and just talk about stupid stuff like tacos and shit. I mean, I'm not gonna bash everybody in Texas like this, but the majority of Texans, good or bad, are just numb to all of this. I mean, yeah, I saw some on TV were complaining to Ted Cruz and bashing Ted Cruz for what he did, leaving and going to Cancun and leaving everybody in Texas to freeze to death and suffer because of the shitty power grid that's independent from the rest of America. Yeah, the power grid here in Texas, for power for parts of the state. I mean, couldn't handle this bad weather, and so yeah, that led to a lot of like rolling blackouts. I think due to the fact that Texas, like I said, went on this go it alone approach. I mean, they didn't winterize the power grid, and plus, I mean, they don't have money slash funding for things like snow plows and salt to remove snow and ice off the road so people can drive their cars on the road. I mean, I mean, Texas and other southern states here in the South just wasn't prepared for all of this. I mean, they weren't prepared for all of this. Like people in the North, people, people have like places like Canada, the northeastern part of the U.S., New England, New York, the North in general, they can handle all this because their power grid is winterized, and plus they share power with one another, and they're not independent from one another like Texas is. And they have like snow plows and ice to remove the snow off the roads so people can like drive and go to places that they need to go. And these people can handle it, and they're not acting like fools like people in Texas do at all. It's kind of sad. Like I watched some of the local news stations on YouTube, like stuff like out of like Fort Worth, Dallas. People were like keeping warm by by standing in like standing in front of barbecue pits. Like they light up the barbecue pits and they keep themselves warm around the barbecue pits. And some, like I said before, like they were in their garages of their houses. I think this is like all over Texas, like some parts of Texas have the garage door shut to their garage. They're in their garage and they turn on the car to let the car run to warm themselves up around the car, and they end up inhaling and breathing in the exhaust, the carbon monoxide, the exhaust from the car, and end up killing themselves. So there's a lot of death, yeah. People in this state here in Texas, the state that I live in, they're just like suffering like left and right. They're like, they're just freezing to death in the cold. They can't handle the snowstorm. They're not tough enough to handle the snowstorm. And they're suffering. Well, you got like politicians, Republican politicians in power, like Ted Cruz, Greg Abbott, John Cornyn, Michael Burgess, Louis Gohmert, and a lot of them. They're hightailing it to warmer climates and leaving the people that they represent freezing to death and suffering and dying in the snow, in the cold, in this frigid, bone chilling Arctic blast weather. I mean, that just shows how much people in this state, politicians, care about the people. It's funny. You got these politicians, these hardcore Texans coming out and telling people, don't mess with Texas if you say something bad about the state and the people of the state. If you say something bad about the state, the people in the state will come down on you hard and rip you apart. But it's funny, when people die off and get sick and they can't get their health, they can't get their medication or things that they need, and they're stuck and they're snowed in and they're suffering. They don't say anything. They're quiet. It seems to me like they love this patch of dirt called Texas than people in general. The way I look at it, it's like they care more about millionaires and billionaires, wealthy people, than poor people. Like the sick, the poor, and the disabled. They care less about those people. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't want to get all political in this video. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to Lisa Grace's comment. So I'm gonna go all Winston Wu on this. It seems to me like Elisa Grace, tries to gaslight me and try to make me out as the problem. Yeah, like telling me, you heard this 1,000 times. Blame yourself. Don't blame society. Just blame yourself. So, Elisa Grace's stance on telling me if France was the same, I'm gonna look at myself for the problem, and saying that I'm searching for agreement and validation of what I know. Um, I'm not searching for agreement, and I don't want a validation. You know, If I see something, I do fact check and see if this is correct or not. If it's not a lie or not. So, you know, women in America who do a lot of gaslighting are just garbage. And that's why the majority of American women suck. You know, and France will never be like Texas or the entire United States in general. It will never be like never. It will never be like Texas or the U.S. Period. It will never be. It will never be that way at all. I text my friend the comment that Elisa Grace sent to me on that YouTube video from David Doe's The Rational National channel. Um, I told him about the comment, and he responded like this: "That Elisa Grace needs to learn to shut the fuck up and stop trolling. She is gaslighting you and making you out to be the problem." And she is the problem. Yeah, she is the problem. Her and people like her in Texas and all over America are the problem. Because people in America, not all, like to tear people down. They gaslight them. They make them feel less about themselves. They make them go angry and lose it and lose control of their lose control of their mental health and end up being mentally ill. Because, according to Winston Wu, I mean, you have a 50-50 chance of developing a mental illness in this country because of a lack of social or human connection and people being isolated, paranoid, fake, arrogant, narcissistic, toxic, mean-spirited, and being these massive over-the-top gaslighters. So yeah, America's a sick country, and people like Elisa Grace don't have a clue why America is in the shape that it's in. People like her in America would rather like blame like incels and lonely people and people with disabilities, people who are weak and vulnerable and can't be strong and can't stand up for themselves, people who are shy and quiet. It's like they just like they just like to tear people down and just destroy people. You know, then when that person that they destroy and they abuse and gaslight, they blow up and lose it, they turn around and label them as a threat. And the police come out, arrest them, shoot them, kill them, put them down, and that's it. And they say stuff like, calm down, you're mad. I mean, this is messed up. Like, someone can raise their eyebrow like this, like being shocked at all of this. And a gaslighter, like a typical gaslighter in Texas, will accuse that person of being angry and upset and crazy. But the truth is, they have this look on their face, like they have this look on their face. Basically, it's a WTF look. But they gaslight and have it as, oh, you're crazy. There's something wrong with you. You're in those angry fits. You need to go see a therapist. There's something wrong with you. You feel out of place. Yeah. they just do that. Like really, like, So yeah. Okay, yeah. Lisa Grace, if you find France the same, you're going to have to look at yourself for the problem. Well, again, France will never be like Texas or the United States, period. Because, if France was like Texas, the French people aren't going to put up with it. They're not going to sit down and not say a word and do nothing and be brainwashed by conservative BS like here like most like some of the people here in America are. No, because the French are gonna protest, and they're gonna protest hard. But here in America, there's some parts of America, like Texas, for instance, like you can't protest at a Texas DMV, which is known as the Texas Department of Public Safety Driver's License Office or Driver's License Center. Um, you can't protest there because the state troopers there, there's police there, in Texas, the DMV is which half of it is the DMV and the other half is a highway patrol precinct station, and it's under one building that has the name Texas Department of Public Safety. And if you don't like what they're doing in there, if you go and protest, they'll detain you. If you try to go and try to protest in the DMV part, the highway patrol, the state troopers, are going to arrest you and take you to jail. So freedom of protesting, which is in the amendment, doesn't mean anything here in Texas because Texas Republicans are authoritarians with no balls. Period. Okay, I'm gonna debunk some things about. I'm gonna debunk something what Elisa Grace said about. Well, she didn't say anything about France. She tell me if France was like Texas, I'll be bashing France just like I bashed Texas. Which, will be true, but France will never be like Texas, and this is why it will never be like Texas and all of America, period. Number one, higher education is free. Number two, French healthcare is the best and the cheapest. Number three, national museums are free for youth and foreign students. Yep, that's why. That's why. I mean, France has a lot of programs for the people, and their health care is number one, and the French love their health care. You know, yeah, France has some problems with the COVID-19 vaccine. Is getting like the vaccine to all of its people. That's what I heard. But yeah, even though they're hit hard by this pandemic, but they're doing way better. I mean, France is doing way better than the United States in general. Okay, I want to read some comments that I got from one of my videos. Here's some two comments from a guy named Tom Sanders, and he says this: New Manchester, if their health care is so great, why do Canadians come to America to see a doctor? It is because they make appointments months in advance and can't get basic health care. Most countries with health care have much lower standards of care. Capitalism has driven the cost. Just look at drug pricing in America versus other countries. Okay, here's another one. New Manchester, quite a trad. Canadians can't see a doctor for a common cold and have to make appointments much in advance. My aunt of nine married a Canadian, and he explained the flaws in their system. I advise you to fact check yourself. Asian, African, and European women are coming to America by the thousands to give birth to anchor babies. Their health care is also lacking. Um, yeah, that's BS right there. And it is. I mean, I know a lot of you who are watching this video are going to disagree with me. But, if you disagree with me, hey, that's fine. I mean, I don't got a problem. But, Um, yeah, so I don't live in Canada, but I did some research on the Canadian healthcare system. I mean, these are some comments from one of my videos. This video up on my channel called 66 Reasons Why Texas Sucks. It's getting a lot of views and a lot of likes and lots of dislikes. I mean, it's the most viewed video on my channel. Matter of fact, it's one of my top videos on my channel. So yeah, okay, he says this about the health about Canadians coming to America to see a doctor. And yeah, all I know is, I mean, this Canadian by the name of David Dole, from the YouTube channel The Rational National, said this. I mean, I heard this, and a lot of doctors who are in Canada. I mean, doctors. A doctor by the name of Dr. Danielle Martin. I mean, she's a family doctor in Toronto. In Toronto, um, and she and David Doe speaks the truth about the Canadian healthcare system. I mean, I don't remember what um Dr. Daniel Martin said. Um, and but I don't remember what David Doe says. He said the Canadian healthcare system works like this. I mean, yeah, it's free of use and paid for through public taxation. I mean, um, yeah, yeah. Let's see what else. It's a single payer system. Yeah, people can go to the doctor in a clinic and walk out owing nothing. I mean, it comes out of their tax dollars. I mean, they don't have to worry about medical bills. They don't have to worry about being bankrupt by medical bills. They don't have to worry about being denied coverage. Um, they, you know, they don't have to worry about being bankrupt by medical bills. They don't have to worry about die waiting to see a doctor. I mean, they don't have to worry about the things that people here in America worry about. Um, their health care isn't tied to their employer. I mean, their health care and someone's job don't have anything to do with one another. Period. I mean, yeah, there's some drawbacks to the Canadian healthcare system. I mean, yeah, it's mostly free, but there's some drawbacks to it. I mean, it doesn't go farther enough. It doesn't cover dental, vision, and hearing aids, and it doesn't cover the indigenous people. I mean, the indigenous people are left out in the cold. So I think coverage needs to be expanded to them. And yeah, you got wait time issues. I mean, yeah, the wait time issues need to be improved. But people who are not dying in the healthcare system like the healthcare system here in America. Because there's because in Canada, healthcare is a human right and not a privilege. In America, healthcare is not a right. It's a privilege. So in America, I mean, healthcare is good if you have a lot of money. If you are rich, you would get the best health care money can buy. If you're poor, you're not going to get the greatest health care money can buy. And health care in Canada and other countries are rationed by need. Who needs the health care? Who needs it? Here in America, health care is rationed by how much money you have, how much money you have in your wallet, how much money you have in your pocket. Yeah, and it's set up as a business. He says, okay, I'm gonna go back to what he said. He says that Asians, Africans, and European women are coming to America by the thousands to give birth to anchor babies, which is total BS. Um, Propaganda, conservative BS. Um, People from other countries are not coming by the thousands to America. Um, Women to give birth to babies, anchor babies. Give birth to anchor babies. That sounds kind of silly. Anchor babies. That's conservative talk right there. Um, Nobody, no poor person from any country outside of America aren't coming are not coming to America because of the health care. Yeah, people from other countries come here to study. I mean, to study at colleges and universities to get an education and to get an education. Okay, well, as I was saying, I'm just checking on my smartphone to see how much memory I got left making this video. Well, anyway, I mean, people from other countries don't come here for the health care. I mean, they come here to get a job, to get an education. You know, they work at these jobs to make money. They go to these college and these universities to get an education. And when they're all done, they head back to their home countries. I mean, you have some people who are from other countries who come here. They just come here for money, just to get rich and just have it all. Just have it all because they're greedy and they're selfish and they want it all and they can't get that in their home countries. So what that guy was saying was a lie. I mean, but you know who comes here to America to get health care? Saudi princess, Saudi princess, and wealthy people from other countries that come here. Poor people don't come here, so that's a lie. And he didn't mention that Americans are heading north to Canada for the health care because the health care is better up there compared to here, and they can get their medication there cheaper than can get here. So that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. That's it. And that's what I'm talking about. People like Tom Sanders and Elisa Grace. They're the reason why America is in the shape that it's in right now. They're the reason why this country's a mess. They're the reason why everything's the way it is. You know, they like to put people down with their negativity and BS. If you listen to people like Winston Wu tells the truth about America, as opposed to Americans like Elisa Grace and Tom Sanders. So yeah, yeah, as of now, the snow here is melting. And saw the road, the snow is going away. It's petering out. So things look like it's going to get better like next week. But I heard my sister said Texas is going to get hit hard by another snowstorm. So I'm probably going to be stuck at my house and can't go anywhere because my car is snowed in. I mean, I went outside and walked around in the snow. I mean, you guys saw me in the previous videos. So yeah. So before I end this video, I'm gonna read this comment from my good friend Captain Brandon Horror Lover. He calls himself Captain Brandon Punk and Horror Lover, and he says this to someone on one of my videos. Just curious, where are you from? Also, I agree with you. North American cities and suburbs have far too many bullies in them. It's a society that is just plain not overly kind to introverts. Hell, Western societies, nations in general. I dislike how most are mean-spirited, rude gaslighters as of late. People need to calm down. Yeah, you're right, Brandon. You are right. You are right. You are right. I think a lot of people in America need to calm down. I think a lot of people in this gigantic circus show called Texas need to calm down because people are just acting like total jackasses here during this snowstorm. And people in the north don't act like this. And it's the fact that Texans can't handle this. Period. Yeah. So that's all I gotta say in this video. Bye.